Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading Rengoku Accessory by me. So let's get into it. Rengoku was a very caring partner, and he often worried about you and what he could do to help you. Most of the time, it really was not easy for him to do things that would make you safe and happy. And most of the time, it was also a struggle to make sure he knew everything that you were going through. Because sometimes you decided that your struggles were a burden and he shouldn't be busied and worried about them. But he believed otherwise. For the most part, he knew that you would never see it the way he does. At least not until much later, and that was fine. Time must heal all wounds, or at least the majority of them, and he will give you all the time you need to heal from whatever made you think that you may be a burden, just for saying that you're struggling. Struggling is a normal aspect of human life, and since the two of you were partners, you were meant to say that to one another, without fear or shame. He deserved that, and so did you. You deserved all the support that you could get, and he was not going to be able to provide that if you didn't give him enough information. But he knew very well that you seemed ill and sick, and you were trying your best to appear like you were fine in front of him. And he was not having it. No, he was sick of that. He was tired of pretending that everything was fine, when it most certainly was not. Wyon, please, if you're feeling unwell, you can tell me. You do not have to hide from me, he said, and you hoped that would inspire something within you. But it didn't seem to help that much, especially when you held his hand and looked at him with a soft smile. Oh, I know. You don't have to worry, Rengoku. I'll be just fine. No, he was worrying, and nothing was going to stop him from worrying, especially with you being very difficult to care for. It was like he had to struggle to get you to care about yourself. So, when he realized there wasn't much you could do, he decided to give you some space and maybe then you would come around. But right now, he regrets it very much. Because he should have done something when he could, and not have waited until you were truly sick and something had to be done. He had realized it was too severe when he started vomiting blood, and he was panicking by then, wrapping his arms around you and rubbing your back gently, trying to reassure you and make you feel comfortable. You'll be fine. You're doing great. Just relax and I'll get a doctor, okay? He said. He felt pretty confused himself, and vomiting blood was not something that most people did normally, and it was not really a good sign, because it meant you were not very well, and you had no idea what to do about that. So, after some time of you telling him that you'll be fine and that you'll tough it out, he gets you to shut up, sit on your bed, and he finally manages to get a doctor. He's not going to wait to convince you. Sometimes, you just wouldn't be convinced, and that was perfectly fine. There was nothing he could do about that. It wasn't like he could control you. At the very least, he could control the situation, because right now you needed him, and needed to be well above all else. So once he was sure of your state and knew what to do and what medicine you'd be having, he knew that most importantly, the two of you needed a very, very lengthy conversation. So, you've been hiding this from me, haven't you? Rengoku, listen. I just didn't want to bother you. I know how busy you are, how much you work, and how tired you could be. I didn't want to do anything that would make you upset or unnecessarily worried. You have a lot on your plate. I just don't want to add to it. But you are adding to it right now. I am worrying about you, Ayan. Regardless of what you think you're doing, I still worry. Except then, when you're hiding things from me, I have no one to reassure me. I need you, Ayan. And most importantly, I need you to be honest. Sometimes, you can't afford to lie. If I hadn't stepped in at the right time, maybe you would have been terrible right now, and I wouldn't have been able to help you. I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to worry about your health all the time, or your well-being, just because you don't think that you're worth it. You are, and you will always be that way to me. Please, let me just show you that. If you don't believe me, then let me prove it. And although you're struggling to accept that, he knows that at the very least his words will mean something. And it's true in the end. Because as nervous as you are to accept this, you can't help but smile and look at him. Really? You believe that? I do. I wouldn't believe anything else. I just want you to be alright, Wayan. That's all I truly desire. And although you're hesitant, and you really don't want to burden him, that sincerity in his eyes is why you started dating him in the first place, and why you wanted to be with him. And he wrapped his arms around you, and you cried in his arms. You wanted him for so long, but something within you stopped you from telling the truth, and telling him just how you felt and how much help you needed. You didn't want to burden anyone, not even him. But right now, as he told you these words, he knew how much you were hurting him, and how you needed to tell him the truth all along. It's been something for the two of you to learn. And now, he will make sure to show you just how loved you are.